Alright, one video in and I'm already learning. YouTube is 19 years old. I remember being in high school and I don't know, it's just funny to think about. My first job was in like a photo lab developing film, and if you don't work for Christopher Nolan, you probably have no idea what that is. Um, you know, I was the guy that disposable cameras came to, and yeah, I've seen a lot of weird stuff, but yeah, high school, it's in TV production. We had VHS, and then we had High 8 and everything in between, and things weren't like digital disc fully yet, but we were getting there. And yeah, my buddy Jason, and Dan, Andy, Anthony, Zach, like this whole group of dudes that we'd show up for first period and we'd put on the news for the school. And in between that, there was a lot of clowning around, and I just remember, like getting on and opening up. I think it was like apple.trailers.com, and I think if you still type that in today, Apple brings up like all the movie trailers that have been like somewhat released, and I'd still like I'd look for those things, and like I really enjoy a great movie trailer, and I'll like see what's coming out far in the future and look for trailers for that, and usually catch stuff before like a big reveal or release happens. So I've been into the idea of videos for as long as I've been able to get my hands on and make videos. My parents, I think one of the big gifts to themselves, I remember they used to talk about like they got an Atari and they got a VHS camcorder when I was a kid. And, the more I think back about my childhood, somebody always had the camcorder, like big VHS camcorder. And like we had like these tapes. I had Adam's Family Values and Wayne's World and Field of Dreams, like VHS tapes. And I don't know, like just the film thing. I think I just always thought, oh well, somebody else is doing it. There's I 2006, I don't know, something like that. Like somewhere around then, I saw these guys, Britannic, Brian and Nick, and they're, if you don't know what that is, you should look that up. But they had like the funniest YouTube sketch comedy stuff. The older I got, I kept saying, "Oh man, that could have been me and my friend. Oh, that could have been me and my friend." And I just, I got older and I kept saying that. And I'm like, just do it, man. Just. There's no reason I'm not making videos. And then I see, I'm not gonna like rattle off YouTubers, but just think of 5 YouTubers, and if they can do it, why am I not doing it? And I know there's a barrier of I don't have the equipment and I don't have the right background. Like this is literally a laundry room. Like this is where I'm gonna start. And I don't know, when you see that I'm not in the laundry room, cool, step up. When you think the video quality is better, cool, step up. When there's more than just me in the frame and I'm talking to other people, like it's the coolest thing I watch on YouTube is hot ones like Sean Evans interviewing people talking about like things about them that relate to larger things in the world. Like that's some of the coolest content out there, is somebody with great interview skills, and I'm ready to start asking questions. So um, I just talked for like 4 minutes. This is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I start cutting out the ums and the ahs. I'm just not practiced in public speaking lately, but it's definitely a skill I have. In the meantime, my goal was to open up these last 2 packs, and maybe it's the coolest thing, maybe it is 2 duds, but just do it on camera. And you know what? It's ASMR or just fun content. So yeah, 2 collector boosters, Magic the Gathering foundations. I did this wrong the first couple of times. Was I just slipped past this token. What you want to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this should be a land. Cool. All right. So we got a forest. Nothing exciting. And you know, I don't know if it's even worth like showing all of them, so we're just gonna, yeah, I don't know. The professor does this. Offer you can't refuse, foil. Extended art, it's pretty awesome. Just switch that on commander deck. Just commons, nothing too exciting. Da-da-da. Let's see. Okay, and then back to, oh yeah, here we go. Token. Now I've got Kellen's been like the main character for the last few sets before Bloomborough, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a cool 1-drop red mana. Levels up through the story they just told. I think it's kind of a cool mechanic for the set. Niv Mizzet, I think this is, yeah, Niv Mizzet combos with himself. Kind of unalive yourself and maybe take the table out with you. Drake. We're not going to talk about Drake. Chandra. And this Curator of Destinies. So not the most exciting stuff. Honestly, the I've got a whole bunch of Kellen already, but this kind of foil, full art, extended art, digging that. Yeah, offer you can't refuse is just visual upgrade to whatever deck I already have that in. I don't play a lot of blue. I tried to do blue for a Commander League at my local game store, and it was not easy to win in mono blue. So let's do this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should be a land. We got it. All right. So I got a Plains. I got a Tatiova. None of these are very exciting, but those are all common or uncommon. Food token. Okay, this is the kind of thing I wanted to open on camera. So I have no idea, absolutely no idea, but that is beautiful. And I've got sleeves right next to me. So I will, I'm sure my next video I'll update. Maybe that's how I end these videos, is like an update about the thing I got wrong in the last one. Yeah, that's hot. All right, let's put that where a sleeve is. Yeah, it was either going to be a dud or it's going to be really exciting. Like, that's sparkly and fun. It's not even English. I know the Japanese altars were like the hot pickup, so I don't know. Next video we'll find out what that was. Soulstone Sanctuary. Now, I don't love the lands that turn into creatures. Like, there's a time and a place, but it's not really my thing. We got a Vampire Noble. It's High Society Hunter. Definitely gonna look at all the vampires from this to look at Edgar Markov. I definitely have an old school Edgar deck. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, I spoiled it, but this is cool. Totally cool, but I feel like this is the hit. This is just a foil edict. Like, maybe I do a video about like how my Foundations Friday Night Magic pre-release sealed draft, whatever. It's not draft. I call it Friday night pre-release sealed tournament. I can go over like what I did, but I just know somebody definitely won a game with this, and the Hidesuka, I don't know if I even said that name right, but there's a red card where if your opponent has exactly 10 life, it's like, I don't know if it's 1 red mana or what, but it kills them. And that was like the coolest thing to see. Like, you read this in like, you can't read that. I need to get a camera you can actually read stuff, but you can pay 1 black mana rather than pay the spell's mana cost if there are 13 or more creatures on the battlefield. And then each player sacrifices 13 creatures of their choice. So it's like you read this and you go, yeah, that'll never. And I mean, the opportunity in a game of Commander that this is going to happen is much higher, but like, what are the chances in 100 cards that this is what you're going to have in your hand and then that exact thing's going to happen? But in a, 40 card pre-release, it's you're probably going to end up digging in through your deck for this eventually. And I don't know, how dope is that? Like, oh, there's exactly 13, boom, they're all gone. And then to turn around and this other guy played the thing that just you put your opponent at 10. And I think his opponent did something that costs 1 life. So the opponent put themselves at 10, and then this guy was just like, "Oh, and you're dead." That's like a blowout end of the game. Like, that's cool, and those moments are really what Magic the Gathering is about. So, and I think there was a version of this where I wasn't sure. Yeah, okay, quick story. What I really thought long and hard about was naming the channel. There's a version of this where it was like something like The Gathering or whatever, and um, there's Gatherer, and people like the Magic Historian have like a gimmick and a plug at the beginning of their content, and I don't have that yet. And I said, don't think too hard. What do you like? And my first Commander deck was Iara, first of Locthwain. I built a couple, but that was the one that I built and really loved. And then that was like, I didn't get into Commander until just before the COVID breakout. And that was just like I spent a lot of time making like 3 or 4 Commander decks without being able to go do anything. I was just gold fishing, and then I went out into the wild and I played this deck, and I just really, really loved it. I've always loved mono black. Casting a swamp turn 1 is just like the best feeling. Like, there it is. And I don't know. I just sat there going, what am I going to call my channel? What am I going to call my channel? And, there's a lot of like cosmic horror stuff, existential dread stuff. There's Cthulhu, Lovecraftian stuff that I'm, I'm an odd bird when it comes down to it, but I just, maybe that's why I like Magic the Gathering, because there's all these weird things in here that aren't just a blue wizard or a red dragon. There's all these other things, and I just kept going. Yeah, I mean, what's a card I cast a lot, and what's a card that I just have the one art that I really love, and even though it's not the best one or it's scuffed up on concrete, like I have a Tidal Kraken that's like half torn in half from way back when, but I was just like, oh, Iara, Iara. And I was like, yeah, but that's not like me, and that's not, I don't know. And I thought back to um, my first AOL account, and I mentioned this in my first video, was, I graduated high school in 2006, so that's relevant, I guess, to like when I grew up. I really grew up with technology up until a point where, maybe it was Snapchat or TikTok, and it just blew up, and I'd already grown up with like Oregon Trail and typing and learning how to use a keyboard, and it just eventually I just said, okay, I'm okay where I'm at, and I'll learn as I go. But technology went quicker than me. But back when AOL was a thing, we had AOL Instant Messenger, AIM, Smarter Child, and everything that came along with it. And you know, I'm the kind of person that spent way too much time thinking about a username. I sat there so long, and I was just like, oh yeah, like I'd drawn these little characters and stuff, and I'd been playing some video games, and I was like, I really, really like the like poetic voice and the like weird dichotomy of this character in this video game, and this is gonna be my AOL name, and it was Raziel, and then like 35 numbers because there were a lot of other people that were Raziel, but Raziel from Soul Reaver, and that was it was just like some obscure 3.1415 whatever. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it just auto generates, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I got it. And I just thought like nobody's gonna know what that is, and even today, like I'm sure people know Legacy of Kain or something, but if I just said, yeah, my username's Raziel, like nobody's gonna know what that is. So um yeah, that was part of this. So um, if you don't know what I'm referencing IR about, I wasn't going to name the channel IR First of Locthwain. I wasn't going to call it First of Locthwain. I wasn't going to call it Castle Locthwain. But I thought, whenever I cast IR, a lot of times to get her out early, I'll cast Dark Writ and Dark Ritual, 1 black mana, add 3 black mana to your mana pool. So, like, it felt right. And I don't know that the channel's going to be Magic the Gathering all the time. I don't know what it's going to become. But there's a million and one reasons that Dark Ritual felt right. And that's what we're sticking with. I'm going to flash this really cool card one more time so that I remember to go put it in a sleeve. If I had to guess, oh, this is Llanowar Elves. No, no, I don't know. I think it is. It's got to be 1/1 tap for yeah. I'm assuming I know what this is. It's mythic though. No, is it just mythic because of the treatment? These are the things that we'll update later. And if I didn't already say it, and I think I already said it, but if I didn't already say it, the last video I said I should have made a YouTube channel 20 years ago. YouTube's 19 years old, so I should have made a YouTube channel 19 years ago. And we did. Oh, I don't know if I want to tell you that. There is a YouTube channel with some content from 2005, 2006 when we were making morning announcement things, and it's word of the day. And word of the day, it could be anything. And we just do a little sketch based around that. And we had some weird stuff. And at the time, I was like, my parents didn't get it. My buddy's parents didn't get it. Our teacher was just kind of like a ho hum. Like, oh, that was cute. And like, yeah, but you didn't get it. So just because the 5 adults that were closest to what I was up to didn't get our sense of humor, I was like, oh, nobody's gonna get our sense of humor. Not really following through with, in 5 years, my generation would be the one that was like leading the charge in tech, not my parents. So, yeah. So there we are. Yeah, I need to figure out a better way of, Casey wearing the shades, like being able to look at the camera. That's not natural yet. But the talking part, I think I got it. I'm get better at it, but like, I'm not shy. I'm not somebody who gets embarrassed or ashamed very often. I don't really talk about stuff that's gonna like hit a chord really hard one way or another with anybody. If I tell you I hate a card, I don't like a land that turns into a creature. Like, I don't think half the internet's gonna roast me over this. But flavor text says, by tradition, travelers touched the pillar for good luck. One day, it decided to travel as well. That's pretty epic, but not my jam. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're still along for the ride, keep following me, and this is where I say like, subscribe, share, comment. Honestly, like, if I flipped through a card and if it wasn't any good and cool, I just went. But if I flip through a card and you're like, yo, you didn't even, Soulstone Sanctuary is the best card ever. Just comment, because like, the only way I'm gonna get better at this is a conversation with you. And I'm not making a YouTube channel to just talk at my phone or buy a nice camera and speak at it. Like, my goal at the end of the day is to connect with people, and gather. And I wouldn't be making a YouTube channel if I didn't believe that this was going to help somebody somewhere. And it might not happen in the first video. It might not happen in the second video. No, literally nobody out there cares. Like this, nobody watching this is like, oh, I'm so proud of Joe. Joe XO pulled a Japanese Lana War Elves. I don't even know what the card is, but what I'd like to think is by the time I get better at this, by the time I'm really good at making a YouTube video, somebody out there is excited to watch it, walks away with some knowledge. I do think I have a lot of things to share. And they're not all things I came up with. They're things that were shared with me. There just wasn't a YouTube channel I learned it from. It's either work experience, good mentors, or just community and coming together. And then I think that feeds back into what I'm trying to do. You know, like I said, connecting with people, connecting people, and gathering. So maybe like we're ending out the year. I know 2025, they're going to have a Magicon, I think, in Atlanta, and I have a cousin there. So I'm going to put this out. I think I'm really, really trying to go to that Magicon. And between now and then, I'd really like to compete in a CEDH tournament of some kind. I don't know what goes on in the Southeast, so maybe that's even a better thing to say. Comment if you know somewhere in the Southeast, and I'll get more specific with who I am and where I'm at, like, eventually. So let's just say the Southeast. Where do they do CEDH tournaments? And what's the best one? I'm not asking about prize payouts. I'm asking like the best players, the best experience, and the best venue is probably a big deal to a lot of people. Like you don't want to go sweat in like a civic center somewhere. I mean, somebody out there knows better than me. So, and if this video is old, like comment anyway, because I'd really like to keep up with that kind of thing. Like if you go, oh no, you know, you posted this video in November in 2024, like it's a different year. It's 10 years later. I don't know. It's whatever. If I'm still doing Magic Gathering, I assume I will. I want to know where the best CEDH tournament is, and if you're planning on going to MagicCon Atlanta, what are you excited about? And if you went to MagicCon Atlanta, see, this is the beauty of this, is this video will be around, and did you go? Who'd you see? Was I there? Did we hang out? What was the craziest thing that happened? I don't know. But yeah, if you're along for the ride, then let's see where this goes. I'll update after.